I'm going to show you in this video how to build this mini greenhouse, how simple it is, and how you're going to be able to use this in the spring to get ahead on your spring plantings, and then how you're going to be able to extend your season well into the winter with one of these with some very simple tools, some very simple materials. And once you have one of these, you'll never stop gardening like this again. Stick around, this is going to be one you're going to love. Okay, it's windy out today. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. These are some that I've used in the past, but the plastic needed to be replaced. I'm going to show you how to do it. I use right here 3/8 inch CPVC pipe, okay, not PVC. I found that the 3/8 inch CPVC pipe is a lot more bendable. It's easier to handle. You can use PVC. A lot of guys out there do. I just don't. Now, here's how I built these. And this is very important that you know. You don't want to do a 45 here and butt the two ends together, because as you can see right here, I have a hinge, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but that'll hinge in. If you have the 45, you're not going to be able to get in. So I wanted to explain that up front. Now, your CPVC, what do I have it attached to? I know some of the guys out there, they have a cap that they slide it into. I tried that, but you have to still screw a hole down in the bottom of the cap, and that doesn't work. This is nothing more than just a 3/8 inch bolt. It's a carriage bolt, and I put a washer and a bolt down and a screw down on here to tighten it down. Okay, you can see how easy that comes on and off. Never had a problem with that. Okay, I did use regular PVC. I think that's a 1/2 inch right here, and I use that as your T. So just pick this up, you can see, slide it on and bring it up here. Here's a kicker. Be sure to put you some zip ties right here, because that will keep this, see how it isn't sliding? That'll keep this from sliding back and forth, okay? Same thing on this side. I measured halfway. I did 2 more carriage bolts. Same thing. You can see how easily they come out and they go right back in. The problem that I ran into when I tried the caps and putting a cap and sliding this down into an end cap is that PVC expands and contracts a little bit. If it expands and you're trying to get that off, it's not coming off, okay? So keep that in mind. I will be putting a zip tie here. I just haven't yet, okay, to hold that in place. And I have the same thing down here. Again, zip ties on the end, okay? 2x4, these are not treated. There's no reason why they're not. They're just not. Go to your store and just get you some very simple hinges. I think I may have paid $2 for 4 of these at Walmart. You can see it's nothing more than a 4x4, or excuse me, a 2x4 on top of my raised bed. Okay, now you can look right up underneath here and see the carriage bolt that I told you all about. That's all there is to that. I just tightened that down and went through. When you're drilling your hole for your carriage bolt, don't do it to where you can just slide that carriage bolt right up in there. Make it to where it's a little bit tight and you have to tap your hammer. That's something I've learned over time. When you're actually hitting that up, it'll be a lot more firm. Put a washer and a bolt on there and you're good to go. Okay, so here's my zip tie. I want to take a second to show you all a neat little trick. Again, everything that I teach you all on this channel is things that I have messed up and don't want you to waste your time on. I've got a pair of just 10 snips here. I want to show you all one little thing. When you're putting on your zip tie, cross it like this. You may think this is very simplistic right now, but I'm going to show you something why you need to be careful on how you do this. Okay, put that through. Okay, it's tightening up, but here's the deal. When you tighten that down and you clip this, okay, it's very important you take that, okay, you may not think it's sharp, it is with plastic, and turn that down like that, okay? Little things mean a lot when you're dealing out here in the garden. Just twist that over. If you want to put another one on here, fine. I don't really think you need to. These are just Harbor Freight zip ties. They do great, but make sure that you do push that down because it'll tear the plastic. Okay, so what are you going to need for the project? You're going to need a handsaw. We're going to just be cutting. If you've already cut the 2x4s, obviously you've built the frame. But we're going to need to the handsaw, I've got some treated 1x2s. I know some people don't like to use treated. Let me say this. I used the fur ones that untreated. They were done in a year. And so I'm not going to replace these every year. I actually take this thing off at the end of the year and store it in my barn and can keep it that way and then bring it out the next year. This past year, we put down the untreated, and with the much weather and rain as we had here, the wood did not even last a full year. So I went to treated. It's not direct contact with the soil, so I feel a little bit better about that. You're going to need these 1x2s. First stripping, if you don't want to use treated, you're going to need a handsaw or a skill saw. You're going to need a drill. You're going to want to drill and pre-drill the holes on the 1x2s for no splitting. And then you're going to need this. And this is your plastic. This is 6 mil. I have a big roll. I got this from a gardening buddy of mine, and we're going to be using this. I actually use a big piece of this to wrap our chicken coop in the winter. So the light can still come in and it heats up the chicken coop so the chickens are comfortable during the winter. So this is a multi-use. These are the things that you're going to need. Let's get to building this. We're going to be rolling out the plastic. When I roll this out, keep it as folded as you can. Trust me, especially on a windy day like this. Here is something that's going to save you some time and money that this idiot did. I'm going to save you so you don't have to. Okay. This is a 10-foot long bed. I laid out my plastic before. I said, hey, I've got enough room on the end. We cut it. We started doing this. There was not enough room on the end. The next time I did it, I said, oh, there's going to be enough. And I rolled it way out, and I wasted probably 3 or 4 feet of really good plastic. So here's the kicker. Whatever the length of your bed is, and whatever height you decide you want to do, now you can see from this, okay? Let me show you this. These are basically, if you go down to the dirt line, this is 31 inches. I can put a row of peppers down here in the middle. I can do my carrots in here. I can do my onions. I can do my beets. I can do all of that, okay? So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Don't think that this is a standard length. Put these a little bit longer. Buy you a piece, pull you around, stick it in one side. Let's say this is not cut. Stick it in one side and just hold it there. Okay, I want it a little bit shorter. I want it a little bit less. Just remember when you're doing this, and my point to saying all that is that you are going to have to put the plastic down. So you want to make sure that when you make it real high, that you have enough plastic that's going to go to the sides. Okay, so the length is 10 feet, okay? From where we're going to be screwing it down to here is 27 inches, okay? You're going to want at least another foot, okay, so that you can pull the plastic, and when you pull it all in place, it's going to work. I'm going to go 40 inches, okay? And I may even, you know what, I'm going to go all the way down and do 45. So I need 90 inches in addition to what I have here. Because what happens is you pull it out to here, and when you drop it down, you don't have enough. You're going to have to go down, turn it in, and go down. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So just keep that in line, okay? So I've got my plastic. I'm going to lay it down. I know that the length between here is about 3.5 feet, so I know where I can put my plastic to have enough. Just little things as you garden you'll catch on to that you know how to do. And if you remember that all your beds are a certain length apart, then it's little things like this that are going to help you make it easy. Okay, I'm going to come right over here because this is the same length as that. I know what I've got, and I'm going to cut right here. Again, I'm going to have some plastic left over, but not as much as I did at one time. Cut your plastic. While it's still folded like this, is probably one of the best tips that I can give. Okay, we're done with that. Now, we're going to take this in. We're going to attempt this on a windy day. It's not going to be easy, okay? Again, 6 mil. I'm going to come along here. I'm going to just start pulling it over. Remember what I said about the zip ties and turning that under. If you're pulling and you rip this, it's very easy to do. Again, you can see this is a thick plastic. And that's what I wanted because that's going to really last me long term. Kind of sum it up. If you get a good enough piece, use the base, because as I said, you're going to be putting that down. Unfold it, make sure that you've got all your stuff in place where you want it. Okay, we've pretty much squared this up. It's a little windy. Here's what I want to show you. See how I use the bottom of the bed to kind of measure the length? It's just like making a bed in your home. Get your side straight first. Now, I've pre-drilled holes in this. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that this piece right here comes to the edge. And the reason is you're going to want the 1x2 that comes this way to be on this side. And the reason is you're going to want it as close to this as you can get it. So right there is where you're going to want it. Just start off and just get it started, not too tight. So we're going to want to just put these in, push this up against here as much as possible. Don't really worry that much about tightening it down on this side because, see, they're in good. I've got one right here. Just get them started. And again, you don't have to worry about going crazy on these. You don't want to split the wood. You're not going to tighten this down so much that it's going to go crazy. So here we go. The tightening is going to come on the other side. Okay, as you can see, I'm going to have to cut a piece here. Let me get that done now. Okay, so I've got that side done. I just put the 1x2s down. Here's where you got to really start paying a little bit of attention. You don't want to come in and get this as tight as you can with what you have. And this will take a little bit of patience. But if you can just take your time and get it where you want it, it's going to really pay off in the long run. Okay? You can see right here, I'm going to tighten this down on this side. So I'm going to grab this underneath. This is why you want the extra. And I'm going to tighten that down. Now you're going to have some of this, but it's not going to be a big issue. You can actually take another piece of PVC and put it here if you want to. It just does not matter that much to me about it falling in, because that's going to be more of my, and I'll show you how that works. That's going to be more of just my transition. Okay, so come in, grab this, pull it tight, put another one in. You don't have to put this down, as I said, so tight that it's going to just rip the plastic. Your main goal with this is just to be able to have a transition. This second piece, tighten down. I'm going to come over here, try and get some of that. I'm going to tighten this down. Okay, see how we've got that? Don't worry about the crinkles like this. It's really not a beauty contest. I know everybody wants their garden to look good, as do I, but don't worry about that. Okay, you've got your sides in. Okay, you can already tell how much room you're going to have. Okay, we're here on the ends. These are done. This is what I was telling you. See how much already comes in? what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to grab these sides like this. This is not going to be pretty. Don't even sweat this. This is just the way that it is. Put this down. Measure this the same height. If you remember, I told you this board wants to go up against here. I make it the full length of this. Start on one end. Put that in. And what you're going to want to do, see how I don't have a lot? That's with 40 inches. You just don't have a lot on when you get to the top here. You're going to want to take this and pull this down. You're going to want enough room to be able to pull this to tighten it up. See how I'm watching, I'm getting all this tight. There's a bunch underneath here. Keep you some pressure right here. Keep pulling down on this. Once you get it tight right there, I think we're pretty good with that. Let's see. Yeah. Let's go ahead and put this in. Okay, see how it tightens up a little bit more? Now, keep the pressure. Come over here, start pulling down on this, reaching up underneath, grabbing this. See this little piece right here? If that bothers you, just find it, pull it, make it tight. Seal that in. Okay, I think we're pretty good down here. I think we can get this. All right, see that? Nothing wrong with that, people. Nothing wrong with that at all. We're gonna come back and trim this. Come on down to this end. We're gonna do this one as well. We got quite a bit more down here. Get it wrapped in. Start kind of getting it where you want it. This is also where you reach up, you got a little bit of sag, and pull that. See how I tighten that up? Take your time with these. Get it like you want it. These are going to give this piece, this thicker plastic. You're going to want to work with it a little bit. Just take your time. Get it where you want it. Alright. Do the same thing that you did on that side. Just start working everything to the middle. Grab this. Get one side in. No different than the other side. Get one side in and going. Come through here. Check out this, make sure it's okay. You can still pull a little bit to get it where you want it. Pull down here. Again, taking your time is the easiest and most payoff way to do this. Just stay the course. Okay, trimmed off, as you saw, a good amount of the plastic all the way around. Here's what I want to show you. Just leave this for a couple of days, okay? Leave it like this for a couple of days, this length. If you want to cut it shorter, do. But I do recommend that you allow yourself to have enough room if this does come loose, okay? Put a couple more screws in if you want to be able to loosen the screws and pull. Again, that's a mistake I made. I tried to make it more aesthetic. I cut it real close. We had a little bit of wind. Just a little bit, it came right out. I had no way of tightening it back down. Let the plastic heat up in the sun. Let it expand a little bit. You may want to tighten it up. Just loosen up your screws a little bit. Tighten it down, screw it back, okay? We're in the deep south. Plastic like this is going to come up and down all the way. Okay. Another thing, you can see, I just put a handle. $1, maybe $1. Okay. At the store, you can get a 2-pack, and I have a little hook down here. Okay. Get you a piece of twine. Get you something elastic, a little bungee cord or something. And when you're not out here, okay, latch it down. With that being said, you can see with my beautiful hair right now that the wind is blowing this way. That's because west is facing this way. Wherever your wind comes from, all the time or most of the time, put the hinges on that side. That's one of the best things I can tell you about this. If you don't, the wind comes, it's going to sling this thing open and it's going to bust the hinges and everything. Keep the hinges on the side where your wind comes from, and you're going to save a lot of time and effort. Okay, I went ahead and put the hinges on, and I want to show you all. I'll put a chain on here as well. Okay, this is something I had. One thing I would say change, I don't mind saying when I'm wrong. I would put the chain, or a lot of my friends use baling twine. I'm going to actually switch to that. I put it on the outside. I don't really like it here because if I've got something planted really close, it tangles up. Just put your screw on the outside. Just be careful, don't hook your leg. But I want to show you how much space is in here and how light this is. I'm an old man, guys. See this? This is really easy to work in and out. You kids can do this. It's also nice at the end of the season. You unscrew it. My daughter and I, Izzy, will take this and we'll take it up to the barn and put it in the top. It stays there. The next year we bring it down. I'll use this in the fall. So this will be great right now when I'm bringing things out of the greenhouse and putting them in here. This is going to allow me to bring my beetroot, my onion bunches, my large onions. It's going to allow any type of thing that I want to get out here early to be out in the established bed. I'll pull them out of the greenhouse. I'll put them in here. I'll leave this down. That leaves me more room in my greenhouse to continually plant stuff. I'll come out and check them here. And as we continually go towards the spring and things start to continually warm up, all I'm going to do is come here and I'm going to set a 2x4. I might just set it flat for right now to let some air in. Then I'm going to bring it and I'm going to turn it this way. And then eventually I'll have to where before I leave for work, I'll have it up like this. All of the vegetables will be in the beds, ready to go. There won't be any hesitation. And that leaves you more room in there. You can do this on any size bed. I've done them on 4x4s. I've done them on 3x3s. That's why I like to see PVC. If you're going up to a 3/4 or a 1/2 inch PVC, you've got so much tubing on such a small bed. Any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to put something in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. Subscribe. Have a great day. Appreciate the time.